favorite scary movie.
Well, sometimes that is better.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
Demons to some, angels to others.
Do you want to play a game?
Here's Johnny!
The funeral is about to begin.
Never sleep again.
Hey Elmers, back here. I'm Rob. I'm here with Mykel and Bill.
What's up?
Hey, hey.
It's 13th and Elm, and today's movie is Starry Eyes. Yeah, you like that? It's a 2014. Have you seen this?
I have not. I know of it though. So.
Okay. Mykel?
I have not seen this. I actually don't even know that I'm super familiar with it.
It premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in like 2013 or something. Or no, South by Southwest in 2014.
Same thing.
Same shit. Austin. And then it was released straight to like DVD and streaming. And then I found it, I don't know, on Netflix like in 2017 maybe,
Yeah, it's
2018.
definitely on one of the major streaming platforms because that's where I've seen it.
Yeah, the title card kept popping up, and eventually
yeah,
I was like,
for sure.
"Fuck, what is this?" And pleasantly surprised. It's a pretty good movie.
Okay. So you have seen this one?
I've seen this one. I've seen this one probably twice. I think I maybe saw it 2 years ago.
Okay.
But it was the directorial debut of Kevin Kolsch, and him and his buddy Dennis Widmer wrote it. It's got a 74 on Rotten Tomatoes and a 54% audience score. So make of that what you will. 6 out of 10 on IMDb, about 20,000 reviews on that. And I think that's accurate. I think like a 6 or 7 is probably where you guys are where I think you guys are gonna land it. Because it's well made, there's a good score, it's well acted, there's good cinematography. There were some reviews that I saw that were like, oh, Argento would be proud, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I don't know about
Why is
that.
it boring as shit?
Yeah, it's boring. It's all synthesizers. The entire score is synthesizers, which is cool.
What's the runtime on this?
This is 98 minutes.
Okay.
And it doesn't have a lot going on, but like I feel like it's fairly tight as far as the progression of the plot and the exposition and everything. Alex Esso is the lead. She plays Sarah. She was born in Saudi Arabia, and you might have seen her in Dr. Sleep at the very end of the film. She's the Wendy Torrance look-alike. She's Shelley Duvall, essentially, in the last 10 minutes.
Better teeth.
Yeah, better teeth.
I saw it, but I do not remember.
Well, it's literally shot for shot The Shining, and she plays Shelley Duvall. That's all you need to know. Her best friend is Amanda Fuller, who plays Tracy. She was in Last Man Standing, which is like a Tim Allen sitcom. I don't know. I never saw that. And she played Eve in a 2003 episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, might recognize her when I see her. I don't know her by name, but there is a strong chance that I would recognize her if I see her.
The boyfriend, Noah Sagan, his name is Danny, and he was an X-Wing pilot in Last Jedi, and he was in Knives Out, which I didn't see, but was pretty well reviewed.
I didn't see it either.
I saw it recently, actually.
And weirdly enough, he voiced Henry in Henry and June from Kablam on Nickelodeon for like 6 years.
Whoa, really?
The blue-haired like intro, yeah.
Oh.
Which I don't know. That's from my childhood, so that kind of stuck out to me.
Prometheus and Ur.
But the movie, without giving too much away, is essentially a struggling actress who's in LA, and she's trying to get that big part, the first breakout. And an older production company is looking for a lead to their new movie, and she does what she thinks she has to do to get the part, essentially. So,
for whatever reason, I'm under the impression, and it could be some poster art, could just be me fabricating this entirely. Is this a vampire film?
no, this is not a vampire film.
Okay.
Yeah, categorically, no, it's not a vampire film.
Okay. That makes me even more excited because
Yeah.
I know even less than I thought.
Yeah,
which was already none.
I'd say there's some social commentary that seems much more relevant now than when it came out, but is timeless. That's all I'll say.
I'm excited.
But yeah, with that, there wasn't much else on it, and I don't know. You guys ready?
Yeah. let's jump in.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll watch Starry Eyes.
We are back.
Okay, we're back. We just finished Starry Eyes. What'd you guys think?
I liked it. It was... I don't even really want to say slow because I don't really think it was slow in the sense that just saying that would make it seem it wasn't boring at all. There was lots of good plot, lots of good character development. Didn't get any of the kills and stuff for a while. But I mean, I don't want to jump straight to that. We'll go in order. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Mykel?
I really liked this a lot, actually. Mostly because I didn't know what to expect, hadn't heard of it, didn't recognize any names. I think you had made the comment that you had stumbled upon it, and maybe that's part of your affinity for it. But so this thing debuted 2014 South by Southwest. Let me tell you right now, if I was going through potential movies to view at a festival, if I found this at a South by Southwest, a Telluride horror show, or any of these festivals featuring films on a low budget, starring nobodies, made by nobodies, going in completely blind, and I chose to walk in the Starry Eyes, I would still be talking about it because this tickled me. I was a fan. I liked this.
Good. I'm glad. I was hoping both of you guys would enjoy it, and like you're saying, Bill, it's not slow, but there's a build up, a slow build up. I guess it is kind of slow. There's a slow build up to the climax in the last about 25 minutes or so.
I would say it's slow, and I wouldn't say that in a derogatory way. It certainly wasn't fast paced. It certainly didn't hit the ground running.
I mean, there was stuff going on.
Absolutely, it was engaging.
There's what, maybe 5 real major characters. I mean, there's all these ancillary NPCs, but there's like 5 major characters, and so even with that, the slow progression, they get fleshed out. Like, did you not hate Aaron, the frenemy?
Oh,
yeah,
instantly hated Aaron.
Yeah.
And also like kind of loved Danny, the sort of like. I'm working as a shitty waiter. I'm living out of my van, and I'm just making movies.
I couldn't tell if I liked or I hated him. It kind of seemed like he kind of danced on the line of offering her that role to just kind of throw her a bone because like she's in a tough spot. To if he actually cared about her, I could not really tell.
True,
but I like that about his character. So
yeah, people seemed believable. The interactions seemed, I don't know if they were like true to normal people, but they didn't feel, I don't know, they didn't feel like they were
like young adult stereotypes that we get.
Just like a written scene. Like they felt more natural. They felt like real dialogue, I guess. I don't know. But you start out, the movie is showing you Sarah Walker, the lead, and she's working her shitty dead-end job at Big Taters, which is something between a Whataburger and a Hooters of some sort. It's like
even at the very, very beginning, she's standing there in her underwear kind of criticizing her own body, so we see really early on that she's not happy with her physical appearance as well as her job. I
don't think we ever could decide what her spandex pants were.
I was confident that it was beer, that it was...
I think you're right.
With the carbonation and stuff, but...
would say that it's frying oil. I didn't see any beer or mention of beer at said restaurant, but there were a whole lot of taters. Taters obviously get fried. I think it was the whole thing.
This is not a family restaurant. This is a beer and potato skins place. They're singing happy birthday to 2 like 30-year-old men at a different scene.
You're telling me Hooters isn't a family restaurant?
I am telling you Hooters is not a family restaurant.
I feel like those guys might have had beers too.
I think
The
they
two
might have had
kinda
beers.
Greasy guys that it showed for a
They're
second
like,
when they were singing.
yeah, looking back.
I could be making
But
that up.
I think they're beer. I thought they were potato skins. You thought they were oil. I mean,
You decide. Let us know in the
Tell
comments.
us, Elmers. Yeah.
Yeah, tell us in the comments.
Tweet us. Yeah. No. Yeah. You see the big taters, and then you get introduced to Erin's like kind of friend group or friend to friend group sort of thing.
And she has that first freak out too at her job.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so she's
Stressed and
where
like.
is she? I don't, for the first one, I don't know. Actually,
I don't know if she's outside or like she's already back to her apartment.
but yeah, she might. Yeah, she might be back home. But we
She's
see
having
her
a rough
freak
day.
out, and
And she's frustrated with her position in life. I mean, it's
Yep.
clear early on she's struggling to find work as an actress. That's why she's there, and seemingly that's why all the friend group is there. It looks like they're kind of living below their means because they probably don't have a lot of income because they're auditioning for parts. You know, like one of these households had like 5 roommates, including one
Yeah.
dude living in his van,
His van.
and just like using the bathroom. I mean, and
that's
they
how it is out there.
they made mention that, you know, they graduated college like 5 or 6 years prior. So these people are in their late 20s, approaching their early
20s.
30s.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, they're old enough that if they wanted to have full-time employment and not have roommates, they wouldn't need to. So, I mean, she's frustrated. And I think that's really all the context we got for her first breakdown.
Definitely. Yeah. She self-esteem, you know, struggling actress, working a dead-end food service job. That is mildly, I don't know, sexual in nature. Like she's wearing
demoralizing
spandex
in
and
a
like a
sense.
tight like A shirt and you know.
Yeah. But then we get the weird theater party.
Oh yeah, where they're
I
all
did
like
not
crowded
like
into the
they're
kitchen,
packed in there like sardines.
drunk and sloppy,
The
like
place is nasty.
like falling down, and the dudes are like taking pictures, like oh yeah, nip slip, oh yeah.
Yeah, very greasy.
And then she has the nightmare, one of the first dream sequences where she's like doing an audition. And you don't see the 2 people that are giving her the audition, like you know, whoever's at the table, reading the table, and those 2 people are the writer and director, Kevin Kolsch, and
Yeah, that's cool.
what's his name?
Yeah. So
Windham.
she finds out about the ad first, I believe, right? I think she sees the ad for the gig.
Yeah, I think
then
she
has-
does, like on her email or whatever job posting.
Yeah, because she learns about it and then has the nightmare because she's so terrified
Like
of the
anxious
audition.
about it.
Yeah.
And then she goes to the Silver Scream audition, and like any audition, outside the room is like 8 other women that look just like her,
Yeah.
same height, same hair, everything.
Yep.
And there are some 2 very very off-putting people.
Absolutely. I mean, they're just horrible people. Like, they painted these to the casting agents, I guess you call them, very well. They weren't supposed to be liked. You know what I mean? They were pompous, arrogant, curt, dismissive, judgmental, and doing nothing to veil that. I mean, it's instantaneous from the moment Sarah walks into the room to audition that, you know, I think there's a line, she's, you know, tries to be cordial and ingratiate herself. She like hands over her headshots, and one of the male, I don't even know if we got his name. I'm sure we did.
Chaz?
Chaz is the character he's playing in the scene that he's reading for
Oh,
her.
Okay.
But he looks like a Chaz. He's like super douchey and
Right.
and he's wearing like a sweater vest over. Yeah,
Over a collared shirt with like a bow tie.
With a bow tie, yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you," or something like to that extent.
yeah.
And
You
he's-
didn't get my headshot. I brought it.
Right, and he says something along the lines of like, "You're either going to stand out and be great for the part, or you're going to be completely dismissed like trash among the thousands of women that walk in here and not memorable at all. A headshot's not going to change that."
A picture's not going to
Yeah.
change
It
that.
says, "Don't tell us, show us." Too.
Right.
Show us,
Yeah.
Sarah.
And this is his introduction. I mean,
Yeah.
he doesn't care. He's here to assess talent,
Yeah.
and that's it.
However they quantify that.
Right.
And his partner in crime is the very unique looking British woman or actress who's portraying to be a British woman.
Yeah.
She is. She looks evil. She looks like someone that would get typecasted as a villain,
Like an evil doctor type.
like an evil doctor or
Exactly.
a carnival worker or. Yeah, I should have her name because she is
I don't
terrifying.
know if it was. Did they ever say it?
Oh, I mean the actress, like for
right,
notes
yeah.
and stuff. So they do the interview or do the audition. It does not go well, and he basically doesn't even. Chaz doesn't even look up from his notes, and it's like, yeah, thank you, have a good day. And she immediately runs to the restroom, which, for whatever reason, the bathroom stalls have weird saloon doors.
Yeah.
That's strange.
Which seemed very odd, and maybe that's an LA thing. I don't know.
It's not.
No.
It's not.
Is it? I've never
It's
been to
not.
LA. I just assumed.
I don't remember any doors like that.
And she's like
Stalls.
slamming her purse and screaming, and she starts having another fit, and she's tearing her hair out, which is a recurring theme, and freaks out probably 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then
She's having a breakdown.
Then she turns around, exits, and almost runs into British lady.
Yeah, standing right outside the stall.
Yep.
Like almost like salivating. It's like,
Fascinated.
Yeah.
She was, yeah.
and she says, maybe we didn't see everything from you, and they call her back in.
Yeah, bring her back in. Yeah, she says, I want to see your fit, Sarah. So and they kind of force her to do that in front of them,
Which
she does. It's
really
kind of a relatively awkward scene. So
super
like at
awkward.
one point they're peering over.
Yeah, they're, like,
their
leaning
little
over while
table
she's
to
writing.
see her.
She's on the
writhing
ground.
around on the floor.
Oh, for me, this was a turning point. One of the highlights of the movie I wanted to mention. So far, I mean, we're not super deep into the movie. We haven't really gotten to know Sarah as a character, even though we've been given foundational building blocks to kind of describe who she might be. But it's clear that she's motivated and not quite where she wants to be in terms of success. And for, let's just, in the movie, that first audition, that first couple reading or lines of reading that she did in front of the casting agents, it's clear why. She's not a good actress. Or maybe there's too much of a mental block. Maybe she's too intimidated. But she did not perform well, as we mentioned, in the first reading prior to the fit. And I think it's one of the harder things for good actors to do is to play the role of a bad actor. And then when she comes back in after being spotted or overheard by the woman in the bathroom and asked to come in and show them more and to do her fit, obviously she's a little put off in the beginning and apprehensive. She doesn't really jump right into it. But you see this wave of emotion overtake her as she's kind of trying to feign it in initially, and then just seeing the disinterested look in the casting agent's face, and then her fake fit pantomime turns into a real
fit.
Anguish. Like, she freaks the fuck out. And obviously this is what the casting agents are looking for.
Yeah, they want something real.
They want emotion, but she kills that scene. She's great. And I'm interested in looking her up. Do you have her name?
Yeah, I do. Alex Esso.
Alex Esso is on my radar.
Shout out.
Straight up, though. And she's gone on, like you said, she ended up in Dr. Sleep. So she's obviously on a Hollywood radar, and she's obviously going to find herself into some more roles. And I don't doubt for a second that her performance in Starry Eyes had not so much to do with that, because
She's great.
killed it. I loved her in this movie.
No, she is great, and I don't think I ever thought about it before of how her believably acting as a bad actress and then transitioning into something raw, and also that being a role she's playing the whole time.
Well, right. I mean, because in the second reading, she's not turned into a good actress. That's by no means what has happened. Real character,
the character
is a powerhouse of emotion, and obviously Sarah Esso is playing the role.
Sarah Walker, yeah.
Oh, what's the
Alex?
Alex Esso is playing this role, and it became immediately believable for me. I was like, yeah, she feels this.
She sells it.
I loved it.
So yeah, she leaves, and there's a few things I don't remember anything memorable. She gets a call back.
She goes to work. And she's
that's right.
She's upset.
She's doing the birthday.
Yeah, she's upset about how all this played out, because they ultimately said the same thing to her when she left the second time as the first time, which is, we'll contact you, or we'll be in touch.
Yeah, but he looked at her. He looked up from his notes.
And she goes home first, and her roommate asks about it, and she says, "I think they made fun of me." Yeah. In her mind, it went really badly, and they were toying with her.
Yeah.
Right.
Want
to see her squirm.
And then she's forced to do her job to, even though she's in this terrible mood, she's singing "Happy Birthday" to those two
30-somethings,
creepy looking guys.
And then her boss calls her into the office to talk about her attitude and how she's bringing down the family and all of this, and that she's not committed to her job here at Big Taters.
Right after her callback.
Right.
And then, he is a great secondary character. He really is.
He is.
He's not in it a whole lot, but he's just kind of like... He's like so obsessed with his job as like the manager of the Big Taters.
He's so perfectly mediocre.
Yeah.
Like he works in LA. All his staff are pretty 20-somethings trying to make it big as actresses. He's seen this 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this girl who's always late or always stepping out to take phone calls and, you know, constantly dipping on her work. Where he is a more, I guess, pragmatist. And yeah, he is, he's, would you say Bill Burr?
Yeah, he's got, his timbre is like Bill Burr
energy.
Right, yeah.
Bill Burr energy.
So she quits.
He's talking about like how you don't take this seriously, and she's like, you know what, you're right, I quit. And he's like, no, you twisted my words.
She's like, no, I'm done. I need to focus on my opportunities. I have talent. I have worth. I'm gonna go chase this, and I'm, you know, she already knows she's got another call lined up.
Yeah, she got called back.
She's got the ace up her sleeve, and she basically says, take this job and shove it.
Right. So she gets to the callback, right?
Yep.
Yeah, immediately after.
Pretty quick.
And it's pitch black when she walks into the room. And she comments on that, and they're like, you know, we told you, Sarah, this will be different this time.
Yeah.
And then they spotlight her. And you can see from her angle, it's clearly the two same casting agents, Chaz and British Lady.
Woman, yeah.
And she gets the spotlight on her and puts her hands up, like, put your hands down. And they want to see her differently. They don't really illuminate what that is. They're pretty vague about it.
Well, the first thing they say is disrobe.
They do. They do ask her. And
After put your hands down, disrobe. Excuse me, they didn't call for nudity in the posting. Is this necessary for the film? It's not. Was the response of the British lady? It's not.
And then disrobe, please.
Right.
Because you're being polite.
And she added the please in there, so of course she obliges.
Well, she thinks about it. And then she just quit her job. She started taking her clothes off. And they start doing like flash photography where they're, she has the spotlight on her and then flash and then black and then flash and then black.
Yeah, it's like a strobe light.
And she's uncomfortable at first, and then over several more, she starts to, I don't know.
She gets into it. She likes being out of her comfort zone and being someone else.
Yeah. It's like a shampoo commercial. She's like laughing and like shaking her hair and
there's blood too.
Well, and towards the end, there's more scenes of her like blood coming out of her mouth and I'm sure if we froze it frame by frame, we might even see some stills from later frames or later scenes in the movie.
Right.
I think that's what that's from.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's enjoying this. She seems to be freed creatively, and she seems to get confidence in what she's doing. Like, she's thinking that she's nailing it and that she's finally, you know, left her inhibitions at the door, and she is performing to the expectations and the hopes of these casting agents.
They say that. British lady says, "Thank you, Sarah. That's what we were looking for."
Yep.
Yeah,
and
which is
shakes her hand, and you see like a pendant on her neck.
On the British ladies.
On the British ladies' neck.
Yeah.
And then they say, I think they say something like, "We'll be in touch."
Yep,
and,
that's their go-to line.
And then I don't have many notes until the producer office.
Well, pretty much it. She leaves and she's a little giddy. She seems to be confident that she nailed it.
She talks to her friends how it went well.
They go back to the apartment. There's like a pool party.
Right. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, no. The pool party is after she has the first visit.
No.
She gets a call from the producer on the balcony looking down at the pool. She's laughing at Aaron, who falls and
I was
hits her
thinking the
face.
pool party where she takes.
No, that's later.
Okay,
No,
that's the
that's
second
later.
pool party and the second producer visit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
No, so I think that is something to note, that because it is kind of the first example of that she might now carry herself more confidently, that Aaron, the bitch,
The frenemy.
yeah, kind of
Who's
like
also like a-
mutual friend.
She's like a rival starlet
Oh,
too. Like she's an aspiring actress as
Yeah.
well, and she seems to be kind of beating Sarah out for particular roles.
literally beat her out. Oh, I stole your role in that commercial.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of, eggs her on about it, and it's like, oh, I'm just kidding, like that type. And you don't see the injury happen, but something happens where she like hits her face on the side of the
Just
pool
like
or
slips
whatever.
or something.
Yeah, and then bloody nose, and Sarah
And she looks down and laughs.
laughs,
And she
her-
gets caught by her other
and her
friend.
roommate.
Yeah.
Her roommate's like, "What the fuck, Sarah?" You know, and like goes down to help her, kind of.
Right, and then phone rings.
And then the producer calls.
I think it's actually the British lady, or somebody says the producer. Oh no, it is the
It is
producer.
the producer.
Yeah.
It is the producer, and he says he wants to meet.
Yeah, he's like, meet, address, and then she's like, who is this? I'm the
I do
producer.
produce of
Click.
Astraeus Pictures.
Right.
Yeah, and that's
And,
pretty much all.
Little Easter egg: Astraeus, I think, is the like Greek god of dreams or stars, and so their symbol is like a 5-pointed star, or
Oh,
whatever,
okay,
for
that's
the
cool.
for the production company. But yeah, she goes to the producer, to Bob Barker's creepy office.
Yeah.
I referred to it as, and spoiler alert, the Weinstein fuck dungeon.
The Weinstein fuck dungeon.
Because it's cleared really quick. Like she shows up, and I mean, he says, "You got the role."
You got the role. Not
Yeah,
many
but it's-
girls get to this room, Sarah.
Yeah, it definitely makes her feel special for a while, and then hand goes to the thigh and up the dress.
And she freaks.
She's not having it.
She understands though. All she has to do is be cool, and she's got a starring role in a film that'll have a poster in a lobby, in a
movie theater,
with a marquee. You know, he's selling it. This is not his first time,
Big time.
and he's a hotshot. Like, I mean, we're in a swanky executive producer office.
You can tell by the tone of his bronzer that this dude makes money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She freaks out. She immediately goes to the door, which is locked, and is basically screaming at them to unlock the door. And eventually,
It's just her,
the producer,
Weinstein, and
The
Weinstein's
lady.
assistant,
right,
British lady,
the British lady.
pig lady, and he like basically gives her like the signal, and the British lady goes and unlocks the door and lets her out, and she rushes home.
Yeah. Obviously distraught. She goes straight in, and there's the whole like friend group, including the catty frenemy Aaron,
and Tracy, her roommate.
and they can tell like she comes home quickly, and they're all in the living room, and they're expecting an answer of some sort, and
Because they saw her leave dressed up and all that.
yep. And things clearly didn't go well. She retires immediately to the bedroom without going too much into it, other than saying it went horribly. And then Aaron makes some catty comment like, "Oh, maybe I should submit my headshot."
Yeah. It was a joke. It was a
Just
joke.
kidding.
Yeah, she's the worst.
Yeah, and they do. She goes under the covers and has the conversation with Tracy, where she confides in her about
The
what just happened. So
sexual assault. So bargaining.
So yeah, he tells her what happened.
He didn't explicitly say, but it was strongly implied.
That was enough.
Right.
I mean, he had his hand like halfway up her skirt. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I thought he was getting his fingers
It's
wet
pretty
there
clear.
for a
for
second.
sure.
But yeah, and then her roommate Tracy immediately is like, "Are you kidding me? Like people still do that shit?" And it's like, well, I mean the movie, but it's like, yeah, clearly that's still happening. This was released in 2014, and obviously in the wake of Weinstein and everybody else.
Me Too,
man, the
hashtag Me Too.
movement.
I mean, this is honestly right before all of that really blew up.
It was like people making jokes and stand up about Bill Cosby 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It was an open secret. Everybody knew about it,
Right.
And that's why it's socially relevant. They're about they're about as subtle as a fucking freight train with the social commentary, but it
Right,
doesn't
yeah.
make it any. It doesn't take away any of the weight of it. I don't think.
Oh, not at all. And especially if you consider when it was out. Like I said, like it was an out secret, but it wasn't Dateline, Entertainment Tonight, headline news. It wasn't trending on Twitter. This was not the conversation that it became in 2 summers later.
You'd be blacklisted if you
Absolutely.
talked about it.
Absolutely. This film tackled that head on.
So yeah, she's just going all over that, and then her roommate Tracy's like, none of our friends do that. I don't do that, and you also don't do that.
Yeah.
And kind of, trying to help her like kind of process what just happened, and also realize that she's the better person for having left it and not pursued it further.
Yeah, you can tell that there's some regret there too, and she does call her out on it. She says something along the lines of, "You don't wish you did it, do you?" Which I don't remember what she says to that.
She doesn't really say much, and I think it quickly transitions into like, "Fuck this night. Let's drink a little bit, loosen up, have some fun. This was a bad night. Chalk it up as a loss. We're moving on." And they kind of transition into that pool party.
Well, no, because before that, she goes back to her job at Big Taters.
Yeah,
she does.
And
you're right. She does beg to get her job back at Big Taters.
She begs Bill Burr for her job back.
Where she has to admit, quote, "I'm a Taters girl."
I am a Taters girl.
Which was, kind of a
see you later, Tater Gator.
Dehumanizing kind of thing that she. Yeah, so she has to go get her job back.
Yeah, no, I mean, pretty much after that, they go to the pool party.
Yeah,
the second pool party.
The second pool party.
The second pool party, and it's there's not a lot of dialogue. It's a lot of synthesizer kind of over scenes of them slow motion jumping into pools.
Yeah,
and there's a scene before that where Danny, who's kind of the love interest, that's Aaron and him used to have a thing. Sarah and him kind of have something happening. He gives her I guess is ecstasy or some club drug.
Yeah,
and tells her not to worry about it and just to enjoy the night.
To kind of celebrate, Danny offers her a role in his movie,
right?
As the lead. I don't know if they even really said what the movie was or anything. They didn't really get into that, but
I mean, he's not an established filmmaker.
He's not.
He's living in a van,
yeah.
Right? But she accepts. I mean, she at this point she's
something to look forward to.
We'll take whatever she can get. And he says, "Let's celebrate," and has a bottle of champagne or whatever, and they take a pill, probably ecstasy. And then they have the scene. They all jump in the pool and
like sharks and minnows kind of thing.
Yeah,
all the girls are in their lingerie.
They keep drinking. The party's not slowing down.
Yeah,
Sarah's getting a little wasted.
You get. There's a lot of these scenes that we didn't actually mention, but you get the kind of artsy scene where they're jumping in. She's swimming around. And then surfaces and kind of we get this a lot where there's dialogue from earlier in the movie kind of echoing as a narration, over and over again. And she starts thinking about basically getting the part, and she's high as fuck. And
hearing words that the producer said to her not very long ago, and she's
casting agents
thinking about that.
Her own thoughts and the criticisms of Aaron and stuff like that.
Yeah, everything.
Mm-hmm. She's very insecure at this point and vulnerable. And intoxicated.
And high as balls. And she gets out dripping wet and calls them back, leaves a message for Estrellas Pictures, and gets a call back.
Immediately.
Yeah, maybe 30 seconds later. And is told an address 1 hour.
Yep.
So she dresses up like
Lady of the Night.
Say it wrong.
Lady of the Evening. No. She dresses up as Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. She's got the deepest V cut. You can almost see her belly button with that deep V cut.
It's on a skimpy dress.
And she's got
some
a
high
line.
heels.
She's got a line. She's got a run in her pantyhose, and she's stumbling into that subway train.
Yeah. Yeah, she's
clearly intoxicated.
Yeah.
And gets to Estrellas Pictures, knocks on the door. British lady answers. Brings her up to the producer, and she's kind of drunkenly going do you want me to play the scene again? Being coy about when she knows why she's come back, the only reason why. Mm-hmm. And the producer, Bob Barker, starts going off about, words, Sarah, only words. Show me what you're willing to do.
Yeah, he has kind of a demonic type speech there. Like at some point he says, like, bury your body in the
Bury your
earth
old
and
life
join
in
us
the
in the
earth.
sky.
Yeah.
Will you cut out
or
your
something
eyes
like
to
that.
replace them with our eyes to
Will
see
you-
our vision?
or our voice and all, like
Yeah.
a lot of like weird culty shit.
Yeah, and he's
There's a strong scene. He did that well.
yeah, and he's eventually like, show me, Sarah, show
And
me
then- and
where
then-
she
Undoes his pants and
undoes his pants.
Loves
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Honestly, my notes, and excuse me if this is not PC Elmer's, but I mean, this is really how it felt. I wrote down it was seemingly engaged in like a ritualistic, semi-consensual rape. Like, I mean,
She was drunk and drugged enough that it wasn't like full consent.
and it was definitely an
felt-
exercise of power. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, this is not something that she would have wanted to do in a better state,
well,
but
no-
she did it.
after and like the ritual man, like after she starts proceeding with it, people in black masks and robes start coming out of the curtains from
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah.
Clearly some sort of cult maneuver. Well, maybe not clearly, because at this point in the movie, there's a lot of like dream sequences. So you're not sure if this is real or
Right.
what is going on.
I'm not positive that those people are in that room actually.
They're real. Yeah.
At this point in the movie, but we find out.
And we do see the producer has the same insignia, like burned, scarred into his hand.
Yeah, it's
as
like the Fight
lady
Club
does.
kiss on the back of his hand.
Right.
It's a 5-pointed star with like a key attached at the very bottom between the two.
And this is the
bottom.
same
Yeah.
logo for
the
Astraeus,
pendant.
Astraeus Pictures. This is the same pendant that was
Mhm.
on the British ladies. Next, so we're starting to see some reoccurring iconography at this point.
Exactly. And they're basically implied to be some old production company that's been around for, since the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not a big, massive one, but someone that produces like quality movies over many, many decades.
Yeah, so they have the cloaked people come out and are kind of there watching, hanging out, whatever, and then boom, scene ends and she wakes up in bed. So she's
In
back
her home.
In her home.
Back home.
And she is
In
rough.
She's in obvious pain. She obviously has stomach pain. She is not looking nearly as good.
She's got the
Prior.
driest mouth,
Yeah,
the reddest
her
nose.
lips are cracked. Her nose is raw for sure. And she's very sick.
But she goes to work anyway at Big Taters. She's a
She
trooper.
does. And she's like
drooling.
zombied out, like spit is drooling into the fries.
So she's in like the expo area in a restaurant, and just drooling into a basket of fries to where the boss comes over and is like, oh, shit, you need to go home, like you're sick. And she's like, no, I'm fine. And they get in a little tiff over the basket of fries. It flings
they're
across.
like tug of warring it, and then he throws it.
And then she slaps him.
She smacks the shit out of him.
She does. She
so
coughs him right on the ear.
Boxed his ear. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote slap at the boss.
Slap at the boss.
I thought that was a good one.
And is immediately fired.
So of course,
on the
he's
spot.
like, okay, get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
you
Never
take
come
your job back. Fuck you.
Right.
So she goes and meets with her friends, essentially.
Who kind of snuck into what felt like an old skate
Skate
park. It
park?
was like a bowl, like a cement
Yeah,
bowl.
like
An
an
empty
graffiti
pool
and
type of
stuff.
shit, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And they're drinking,
hanging
and shooting video. And the line I have is they're watching Sarah, and she's not being responsive, and she starts getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron says, "She's gonna Ralph." She's
Yeah.
gonna vomit. It's like, what you think he says? Like, what year is this?
And she stands up and just lifts her shirt up.
Yeah, she is
exposing her bra and
Well, she notices she's being recorded.
Right.
She notices the guy's recording her,
I
and
can remember if it
starts disrobing, and then everyone freaks out.
And they're like, whoa.
Her roommate Tracy pushes the guy that's filming her, who's drunk, and then Sarah freaks out and pushes her roommate back.
Yeah,
And they're like, "What the fuck?"
She's like, "Whoa, I'm
She's like, "I'm
trying
sticking
to
up
help
for
you.
you."
I'm
Yeah.
trying to stop him." And
And
then after that, she kind of walks off.
she freaks out and walks off in the dark, and then that's the last her friends kind of see of her for a few days. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
and she shows up on the doorstep of is that
It's the producer's like home.
I couldn't tell if it was his house or like really nice offices,
like some sort
or
of casting
whatever.
studio or something.
Yeah,
But she shows up. She's banging on the door.
lights are off.
I wrote, it's rough when the homeless guy asks if you're okay.
Dude,
'Cause
she assaults a homeless guy. Yeah.
she pushes him on the ground.
Yeah, he just like kind
screaming.
of checks on her to see if she's okay.
Touch me! Ah!
Yeah, so she's screaming at the door, like, kind of like, what is happening to me? I'm sick, like that kind of thing. Obviously, there's no response. And then we get that kind of like euphoric wandering around Hollywood or whatever, all the flashing lights.
A lot of shaky cams, blurry lights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then at this point in the movie, it starts to pick up substantially. There hasn't been any kills yet, but we're past all the plot development and character.
It's gotten very tense.
Yeah.
Sarah looks like shit.
Constant, like every day, every further
She's
season.
It's getting worse where she's losing more and more hair.
Yeah.
She's getting splotchy and rashy.
She pulls fingernails out at one point. I don't know if
She's
might
like,
not be till later, but
vomiting on the toilet at her apartment.
Yeah, she's sick. She doesn't have a job. She hasn't been contacted by the studio. She's not leaving her house. She's not engaging with her friends. She
Right.
looks like shit. I mean, she's in the midst of a downward spiral.
yeah. And then this is when she gets into an argument with her roommate Tracy.
Right, it's like
in their place.
some morning after, and she's been in the bathroom all morning.
And Tracy's got to go to work. She's
she's
like, I
trying
need
to
the
get
bathroom.
ready.
I need to get ready. And
Yeah.
like, she keeps telling her, leave me alone. She's like, you've been in there for hours. I need to go to work.
Yeah.
So she finally exits the bathroom and basically runs into her room, pushes past her roommate, and Tracy's like, what the fuck? And like basically confronts her about it. And they're not really talking. Tracy's asking her questions, and Sarah's kind of either not responding or sandbagging her. And then she says, "Do you smell that? I think that's you." And then Tracy's like, "No, it's you. You haven't like showered in days."
Yeah.
Covered in
no,
vomit.
Yeah, she's like, no offense.
And then Sarah gets like really close and is like, "Are you on your period?"
she
like grabs
she
her
grabs
crotch.
her. She
Yeah,
grabs her
and
crotch.
which Tracy freaks.
That
and
was
pushes
the
her
tipping
back.
point for Tracy.
Yeah.
She's like, what the fuck? Like, you are acting like a psycho bitch. I'm done with your shit. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
And like, I mean, justifiably so.
yeah, she's actually crazy.
She flips.
Yeah.
And Sarah doesn't respond to that well either.
No, they have
She
they have
flips out back.
They have a huge argument.
Yeah.
She goes on this rant
about,
about
like-
how all of her friends are losers and are living off of her, blah, blah,
Holding her
blah.
back from success. She's
Right,
she's an
and-
accusatory tirade towards Tracy.
And then the sad movie Danny's doing, and how like they're all Tracy's friends and all this.
Right.
Which Tracy responds back with, like, "Oh really? I've had to cover your rent for the
months.
past months." Like,
I don't
how
think
about
you were going to
that?
have this month's rent either. You're going to say that they're freeloading off of you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sitting here as a friend concerned for you, and this is what, this is how you react.
And then she goes back to her room, or Sarah goes back to her room, and basically finds an envelope from the production company, Strays Pictures, which is full of cash.
Stack of hundreds.
Lots of money.
It is just someone just mailed like $5,000 in hundreds, like in the mail, like in a just whatever.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that like came in the mail or if she somehow got it in like her
At the production
drug-induced
company.
state
Right,
and
and
just didn't
noticed
even
it later.
remember bringing it home
Yeah.
or whatever. But she takes a fistful of bills and throws it at Tracy and says,
Basically
"What?
says,
Now it's our fucking apartment
Yeah,
again."
fuck you. Yeah, stay out my
Something.
fucking way.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, she gets the cash, and then the next kind of notes I've got is that she's sleeping, or no, she gets like kind of like chloroformed by British lady, which might be a
she's-
dream and might not be a dream.
She's shoving the blanket into her mouth.
Right.
Right.
'Cause she's in her bed, and you can see she's like under her sheets, which she keeps doing, and then like a hand comes up, pulls back the sheets, and starts shoving this blanket into her mouth, and she's like drugged, chloroformed, whatever. I don't know if this is some sort of state of psychosis or if this is actually happening.
Yeah.
But Sarah is then, I think we kind of see this like I don't know if transformation is like the correct word, but the spiral
convulsing.
intensifies.
Well,
she's convulsing.
she's
in bed really
convulsing,
bad.
and then she sees her transformed self standing at the foot of the bed,
She's like definitely hallucinating.
which is her basically in makeup with a beautiful dress and an obvious weave.
Pearls and like
Pearls.
she's ready for the red carpet. She's a star.
She's wearing the pendant. She's wearing
she
the
looks like
straightest
Star.
pendant. And then she kind of wakes up and she looks gross.
Yeah, so
I mean,
absolutely
Horrible.
disgusting. She reaches. It shows her panties and they're blood stained.
they're
she
like
sticks her
brown,
hand down
like,
there,
like
and there's
dried
like
blood.
crusty. Like it's
Goo. It's
pretty nasty.
Yeah.
She actually reaches up to her head and like a whole part of her scalp. Like
She
slips
looks like
off.
a terminal patient. Like
Yeah.
she is dying, as
Yeah,
she will. She
she's
soon
like,
says
like,
that.
like
Actually,
radiation poisoning.
Yes.
yeah, she looks really bad.
And she gets in the bathtub
Mm-hmm.
to where she vomits a bunch of maggots.
Right. Which
To where you said the actress actually did
Yeah.
that. Well, actually had like the maggots in her mouth for that scene, which
yeah, they're real. They didn't CGI that.
props to her for that.
I mean, this is a low budget film.
I would not do that.
The film didn't suffer because of the budget for any. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to say that, but it's because they didn't take shortcuts. It's because those were real maggots that the film didn't suffer. If that was some sort of makeshift cottage cheese prop, it would have looked corny. But this looked fucking gross.
She pulls one out of her teeth and it's like wriggling around her fingers and stuff.
You can tell.
When you know
Yeah.
that's real, it makes it
It
that
better.
much better. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, at this point, she gets out of the tub. She's literally.
Well,
Oh,
she
sorry.
gets a phone call. Is why she gets
From
out
the
of
other
tub.
room, yeah.
Oh yeah, because she's crawling towards it. That's what she's crawling
Yeah.
towards.
She's
right?
just
She, like, can't
hoping
even-
in her mind that it's the producer, that it's somebody, to follow up on this part.
Right.
This is the only thing that she cares about.
She's dying. She's literally dying. And she finally gets the phone, and it's Chaz. I don't know what it's called, the guy.
Yeah.
It's the casting
douchebag
agent,
casting
the
guy,
douchebag. And he's like, "Of course you're dying, honey. What did you think? This would be easy?"
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my best impersonation of his voice.
kind of
pretty
like,
close, yeah.
how can you become something else if you don't kill what
If you
you've
don't
been?
kill what you've been, honey.
Right.
And she freaks out. She's like, "I'm dying!" Ah! And then he hangs up on her.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like a fugue state where she's hearing the narration of the producer and the casting agents talking about what she will become, what they want her to be, and all this. And she goes to the apartment of her 5 friends or friends of friends that are all living together.
Yep.
And starts checking in. She walks in silently, and it's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., sometime late at night, and starts checking to see who's in the rooms. And she's wearing a hoodie to cover up her bloody scalp.
She looks horrible.
She looks gross. And that whole scene is kind of all by ambient light from coming in from other windows and
Right.
stuff, or LEDs and
She's
stuff.
definitely she's not turning on lights when she walks in the rooms or anything.
No,
Hell no. And she goes up to Danny's van
right.
and realizes that he is in there with Aaron. They're kind of
Flirty,
hanging
pillow
out,
talking.
cuddling,
Yeah.
pillow talk.
She also overhears Aaron talking about herself being the lead girl in Danny's
Simone.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same role that Danny promised Sarah. I don't know, a couple days prior.
Right.
Before she freaked out and ran away. Yeah.
Right.
And then Aaron gets out of the van to use the bathroom and get some water for Danny. And that's when Sarah kind of follows her into the house.
Yeah. Confrontation in the kitchen.
And freaks her out. Yeah.
She kind of
Yeah.
startles her,
Dark.
sneaks up on her in the
Yeah.
dark. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have a semi-normal conversation at first
In the dark.
in the dark.
I mean, the
She
fridge
keeps-
light is the only thing keeping this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
She's
it's-
trying to turn the lights on, and Sarah's like, "No."
Yeah, they make it very obvious that she doesn't want the lights turned on.
And they have a conversation that's basically boils down to you guys. Sarah's like, "You guys are so pitiful and sad, acting in this movie. I can't believe you'd want that."
When did you realize you had to
And-
fuck this guy to get your role of Simone back?
I guess you fucked Danny to get your role, and she's like, "No, we've hooked up before. Like, I don't.
We just like each
I don't
other.
fuck people to get roles."
In fact, isn't that what you
Yeah,
did?
and then no response. clearly that's what she did.
Oh my god, you totally fucked that producer to get this
Did you
role.
suck
Suck
some
that
old
old
producer's cock
Yeah.
for a movie called The Silver Screen?
That's sad.
And then she finally does just hit the lights, notice immediately, and I actually kind of like this because she's been a total bitch the whole time, but as soon as she sees her state, she's like,
What
oh
the
my
fuck?
god, like, are you okay?
Let's go to the hospital.
We need to get you to a hospital. And she's like, no.
I think if anybody saw anybody in the
Yeah,
state that Sarah
true.
looked, that's the reaction you would have. You know what I mean? It would like or dislike. She's like, dude, you look like you're fucking dying.
Yeah,
And
she
was.
immediately was like, we're not fighting anymore, like, you need help.
They start-
And she moves towards her, and that's when Sarah grabs a knife.
Well, they're like, she's like trying to, I don't know, and they're like grabbing each other, and she's freaking out. And she looks at the knife earlier when she first comes into the kitchen before she's talked to anybody.
Yeah.
And then she grabs the kitchen knife from the, whatever, fruit plate and slashes Aaron right in the cheek.
It almost looks like it might not have been fully intentional. She kind of grabs it and kind of whips around and maybe didn't realize what she just did, which was give Aaron a nasty gash on her cheek.
Yeah, right. Like
corner of the mouth to the
style.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Which she freaks and starts, collapsing,
She stumbles
holding her
back.
face.
She's not. She can't really scream. She's in shock. I'm sure opening her mouth would
hurt like a motherfucker,
incredibly
man.
painful. But she's looking like, what the fuck is going on?
And Sarah's kind of like out of it. She's sort of dazed and sort of walks past her.
Yeah, she kind of just leaves.
She goes into the hallway and those voices start coming back. Those like echoed statements from
the producer and the casting agents and all that.
And then
she
you start
pulls-
hearing new lines though. The do it, Sarah.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Become one of us.
One. Yeah.
Which these lines have not been, or if they were, I missed them, but they certainly were not being repeated in her subconscious yet.
Yeah.
No.
This is like new information. Somebody's tapping in and encouraging this type of deviant behavior.
Right.
Absolutely.
The transformation is continuing. Mm-hmm. And she does pull more of her hair out.
And it's like
It's a bloody, wet clump.
Yeah, it's gross.
Slops on the ground.
There's a lot of
Slops
scalp.
on the ground.
Yeah, a lot of scalp.
And then she kind of turns back to basically finish the job. Like she's gone full Order 66. She's going to execute and and goes back and just starts stabbing Aaron in the stomach, like disemboweling her.
Yeah,
essentially.
press her against the wall, stabs her in the stomach a few times until Aaron drops to the ground.
Yep.
Seemingly dead or very near dead.
Yeah, bleeding out. And then Sarah turns around and basically starts going to the house.
She's got the bloodlust now.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, it's not important,
Well,
but we do get a
so
little
good.
part where one of the other roommates.
Well, that happens shortly after because she goes into one of the roommates' rooms and picks up a dumbbell.
No, before,
yeah, no,
before
I'm
that.
talking about the.
I know what you're talking about.
It is
That
before
happens
that.
after.
No,
No,
it's
it does
before.
not at all. It's the guy
'Cause he's in
that
the bathroom.
a guy comes out of the bathroom.
He's like, hey,
and kind of just looks over and goes, "Hey, what's up?" And then just leaves.
goes to pee, and she
Right.
walks past him as he's like, you can like hear him pissing.
Yeah, and then goes into the other room.
Because we thought she killed Tracy.
I thought we were talking about the next
yeah,
incident.
No.
No.
But
yeah.
so she goes into the roommate's room, picks up the
You
fucking
see
dumbbell.
her drop the knife, pick up like a 20-pound dumbbell. It wasn't,
Something like
wasn't
that,
big,
15,
but it
20
was,
pounds.
But it was big enough. And then she is standing over.
I think she's actually straddling
straddled
this
over
girl
this girl.
in bed, waiting for her to awaken. I love this.
Love that.
And
Waits
then,
for her to wake up.
and then she kind of like comes to and like looks up, and Aaron's like 8 inches away, and just starts smashing her fucking face.
yeah,
in.
no word, just that fucking great kill.
Great kill.
It's not-
wasn't really off camera at all. You get all the.
But it's not just a sustained shot. I was saying suspended and sustained. Sustained shot, and it's like flash. It's kind of a camera flash. It's like back and forth.
Well, yeah,
And
because
it's
I kind of thought we were going to get a lot of it off camera. Like, you get the initial blow, and then
Yeah.
you get like 3 more strikes where you're looking up at Aaron, and then you go back to the bloodied pulp of a face, and about 4 or 5 more shots to this head, and it is just...
It is tomato and a molcajete. She is mashing that face in.
that was
Great
good.
kill.
That was
Such a
really
good
good.
kill.
My favorite kill of the movie.
And then
Absolutely.
yes. And then she turns around, and the dude who just finished pissing is like, "What the fuck? He like came back to the door.
Yeah, because you can hear the bones and squelching of the blood. He's like, what the fuck is going on? It opens up the roommate's door and was like,
she
completely, flabbergasted at the atrocities being committed, and he goes to like run for help or make a phone call to the police.
Sarah turns around, picks the knife up,
and she's coming after him.
And he slips. He slips on her scalp hair.
Yep,
in
there's left in the hallway.
Yeah, the wet.
Which is a great. Between that and him being like, "Hey, what's up?" Great comedy.
Yeah,
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And she immediately just, when he falls, just jumps on his back, and
that was a pretty good one too.
Goes to town, just stabbing him in the back as he's screaming.
Yeah.
Another great kill.
Then she looks up into the kitchen, and Aaron is like slipping in blood and like weakly trying to get out of the door.
Yeah, she's not dead.
Not dead. She's crawling out.
So Sarah stands up, walks over, and then, which we talked about this when it happened. The kill is silly. It's a cool kill, but like it's so ridiculous.
Completely impractical.
She grabs like a turkey bag, essentially, like a huge like non-sealed Ziploc, and gets it over Aaron's head, starts suffocating her, and they're slipping in the blood.
And I understand Aaron's severely injured and her strength is waning,
and
but
probably lost a liter of blood.
She definitely has enough conscious thought and enough strength to put her hands up to her head to try to take off this turkey bag when all you had to do was puncture a hole for air.
Easier said than done.
But I mean, apparently. And I mean, you're fighting for your life, you're terrified, you're bleeding out, and Sarah's here to fuck shit up.
Mm-hmm. And you're hyperventilating too.
Too little, too late. Yeah. Aaron does die from asphyxiation.
Yeah.
Which is great because she's definitely the character that you're rooting against.
Oh yeah, but halfway through the movie, you're like, oh, I hope she dies.
So it was like actually kind of glad to see, she's still alive, like she's suffering.
Right, yeah.
So that was great.
Then Sarah goes out to Danny's van, or near Danny's van, because he's obviously parked in the driveway. So she's sitting on
the van seats that have been removed and set as a bench next to the van.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he opens the door to see why Aaron's taking so long.
Sees Sarah sitting there in the dark again, because I mean Sarah's covered in blood at this point.
She's wearing a white hoodie.
She's been rolling around
and wore a white hoodie to go murder 5 people.
Yeah. But he can't really see that, or at least we're given the impression that he can't see that, and he keeps approaching her until eventually he gets close enough to see her face and the hoodie and the blood, and he's like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Foop. There, 3 more knife stabs right into the gut.
But he still sits down next to him and they talk for a little bit before, right?
No. They're talking as he's walking closer, and then as soon as he
sits down, does he?
Pretty much as soon as he's within
arm's
stabbing
reach
distance, he gets stabbed in the center of mass and then collapses down.
Okay.
And then he starts trying to talk to her like, wait, why? Yeah. What the fuck? What's going on?
And she's like, you don't see it, but I assume she's running like a fish, up his chest.
I think there's some twisting in there too.
And she's enjoying it.
She's
smiling, and great line. She says something like, I only care about one thing, and they're going to give it to me.
They're going to give it to me. Mm-hmm. And as he's dying, bleeding out, basically the cultists come out of. They've been watching her murder all these people, and they come out of the shadows.
These are the black-faced, goat-faced men in the cloaks.
I do want to add just real quick. We were talking about how Danny looked familiar the whole time. I flicked through his IMDb, and I know him from. He plays JT in Dead Girl. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie.
I have seen Dead Girl.
But that's a great, pretty fucked up cult movie, and I was glad to finally place that. But it looked like he was in a lot of other. He was in Cabin Fever 2, and a lot of other horror stuff. So. And
this is the guy. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rob. This is the guy from Kablam.
This is Henry from Kablam.
That's a great nugget for the '90s babies out there. If you remember Kablam, he was a voice on a Nickelodeon cartoon,
Henry and June,
kind of like a variety show.
They were the hosts essentially. Right.
Yeah. So he was recognizable, but I couldn't pinpoint it. So thanks for doing a little quick research, pointing that out, and he was in Dead Girl.
Of course. So the cloaked people come out, and then, if I remember, it kind of just pretty quickly cuts to some kind of procession going on in the woods. There's A lot of older people dressed up.
They're kind of they're overlooking the city. Like
they're in the Hollywood Hills. They're not
near
the sign,
but they're
near
at
the
the
sign. Right.
Yeah, up in the hills, not marching, but
well, and everyone's like
they were like single file though.
Everyone is gray haired.
Yeah,
right.
And you see the producers there,
and they have their evil glow sticks.
They set down glow stick things into the shape of the insignia.
There's they don't show it in full sequence, but they show a montage of essentially Sarah being wrapped up in like a plastic sheet.
Yeah.
And then buried, but you don't see her being buried.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and then it's kind of like a burial mound that they are placing these glow sticks and the insignia on top of. And you assume that it's Sarah in the earth
as they're chanting "Hail Astreus, Hail Astreus."
Right, they're all in a circle. This is clearly a ritual. Type of.
There's also
ceremony.
her breaking out of the plastic with her perfectly manicured nails, sort of like a rebirth, like an amniotic sac sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And she crawls out of the earth
the next morning,
and she does in fact find a gift waiting for her, like a birthday present wrapped,
red box,
beautifully
white ribbon.
Wrapped present,
and it does say "Happy Birthday" on the tag,
which is great. I mean, it was a tiny bit cheesy, but I liked it.
I mean, she's fully nude, essentially.
She's bald, completely bald. The smoothest
great bald cap.
Great bald cap. I swear that was brushed with CGI.
Well,
the smoothest head.
You could see
it was smoothed out a little bit.
You could see how it was shaved, and you could see where the hair follicles were as well.
Right, and they tried to dress that up with CGI. I don't care what anybody says.
No,
I
think you're
so
right.
smooth.
You're right.
Yeah,
but she rocked it.
She did. She was looking right. I mean, she had those crazy like fucking beetle green eyes, which looked ridiculous. But
I made the comment. It's like the opening title sequence.
That was the very end, right?
The title sequence.
She had them when she came out.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even notice.
The title sequence to Goosebumps, if you remember, everybody's glowing eyes. It was that same green. She had these completely cartoonish CGI. This was the cheesiest effect in the whole movie, but it wasn't distracting or anything. She just had these glowing slime green eyes.
She disinters herself from the earth, covered in mulch, at about 8:30 in the morning, and then covered in mulch, holding her present. She walks home naked through LA, presumably, and gets home, and then basically lays like a robot, naked. And I guess
under her sheet.
Because she showered at some point because she doesn't have any mulch on.
She's very clean.
And then her roommate comes in and is seeing that Sarah is under the sheet and kind of not wanting to react.
Which is from what we've seen in the past is kind of her
MO
when
she's
coping
really mechanism.
Upset.
Right.
So she apologizes
for telling the
friends about what happened with the producer. And then she pulls back the sheet
and sees
bald
Demon Sarah,
completely polished, she's just shining.
She didn't have a single hair on her body.
Yeah,
except her eyebrows.
The very bright green eyes,
and is kind of freaked, but also hypnotized.
Yeah, she's not as terrified as a normal person would be in that situation for sure.
Sarah's bedroom is also filled with candles at this point.
Oh yeah, there's 20 candles.
There's 20 candles, and Sarah basically finally moves, reacts, turns, and says, "Trace, lay down with me like you used to," and
say goodbye.
And Tracy doesn't want. She says, "I don't want to," and then she kind of is,
coerced,
compulsed to do so.
Right.
And then they lay down on that twin bed. Opposites.
They're very close to each other. It's pretty uncomfortable looking.
And there's some sweet words, and then they kiss, and then Sarah basically eats her tongue out of Tracy's mouth.
And
I don't really know. There's a lot of bleeding out of her mouth.
It seemed like too much blood for
then
what
she dies. She's
yeah, I kind of took it more so as she's sucking a life out of her.
Okay.
I don't know if that is what was supposed to be happening.
She died.
It did seem like she was eating her tongue, but she wasn't. There wasn't any chewing or it didn't allude to that at all really. But she does something, and she dies. And then
she stands up and opens her present.
The dressing room scene.
She opens her present
above the dead body of Tracy.
She's preening.
The only girl that was really nice to her throughout the whole thing.
Right.
Her roommate, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But she paid rent. She paid back those 2 months' rent, so she deserves to get murdered.
She's fine.
So she does open her present, and inside it is like shoes and a dress and gloves
and a
wig
and a pendant, and she's dressed up just like she saw her future self in the middle of the movie.
A couple nights ago, yeah.
Right.
And she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, she's a star. She's
looks
going to be
great.
a star, and she puts that pendant on, and you kind of get the sense of like the transformation, the rebirth, the sacrifice. Everything is complete.
She's also looking at the black and white photos of the golden age of film stars.
That she has on
while
the walls
she's-
in her
while
room.
she's
Kind of her
looking,
like
Right.
what do you call that board? Like a
vision board.
like a vision board.
Yeah.
Kind of like her vision board of what she was aspiring to
what she
become.
wanted to be, what she
And you kind of get the sense that she feels like she's there.
she made it.
Yeah. Roll credits.
And then credits, yeah.
Credits. And the whole time, amazing synthesizer score.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I mentioned that, but I did
Soundtrack
really
was great.
like
It's
that score.
really good.
That was a well shot movie, a very well acted movie. Again, Alex Esso,
Yeah.
she's got some chops.
Praise. Yeah, she's
I
great.
give it up for her. Really, I do. I thought that she obviously was the focal point of the movie, but she carried it. Creepy Bob Barker, Harvey Weinstein's sex producer, was really good in his role. Chaz, the casting agent, was just punchable and detestable and incredibly obnoxious. You never wanted one time to trust him, to root for him, to like him. So he did his job. This was a good film. I liked it.
Good.
Do final ratings real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think?
I liked it. I mean, it will all be like not the same of whatever we said, but I mean, it was a little bit of a slow burn, and then like all the kills kind of at once. But everything up to it was great. Like you already said, all the acting was great. The soundtrack was great. The kills were awesome. The dumbbell kill was one of my favorites in a while. I did like the ending. I think it was very appropriate. I'll go 73 out of 100 from me. Very solid.
Yeah, I mean, this was, like I said, kind of my cup of tea, mostly because so much of it was unknown to me. Didn't know what to expect plot-wise. Didn't recognize the names. And then the execution was really good. There's nothing I can say that I haven't already said many times already in the course of this podcast.
Right.
I'm just going to cut to it. This is at 80.
Damn.
Dang. Okay.
It was an 80 for me.
Good. I'm glad.
Don't get used to that, Elmer.
This movie I'd seen before. I already knew I liked it, and I thought it would play well with y'all's tastes. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I on a second watch through, I kind of forgot how slow it was in the first hour. Mm-hmm. But I think some of that plays into, again, like we're in a group setting, we're watching it to review it. It feels like, I need action to happen. You know, that seems more on
especially when it's like your pick.
Yeah,
and you
when
want
you're-
it to
when you're
land well.
hosting, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're eager to get some kills and stuff.
But no, I think a 7 out of 10 is a solid. You know, this is a good film. Like you're saying, great acting, pretty well shot. You know, I don't think it was mind blowing, but there's like the shots where they're in the bed and it's kind of horizontal, side by side.
Yeah, when you're under the covers.
Yeah.
That's a cool shot.
And the score too, which is not a make or break, but it definitely bumps it up.
And the chances that they did take, like I said, were small. Like with the eyes, the effects that they did take a chance on were small enough to not be distracting, considering their budget. And then outside of that, practical effects were on point. The maggots, the
Real
makeup,
maggots.
the blood.
Dumbbell.
I mean, those things were done well, and they were not shy about putting it on screen. Also, it wasn't these quick shaky cam shots.
Yeah,
they said
the bats where they're like,
right. They're like, girl, you're gonna put maggots in your mouth. We're gonna milk every second out of that,
Give me that maggot
on
milk.
screen
Yeah.
that we can. And I think that added to it. There were parts of this movie that were uncomfortable to watch. There were parts of the movie that were beautifully shot. I mean, this landed. I like it.
yeah. This is probably not a horror movie I'd recommend to non-horror people. Just because it is kind of slow and the payoff might not be, like, people might get bored you know, if they're not horror people. But I don't know. Again, 7 out of 10. I think that's a solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was solid.
No, great
for
pick.
sure.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, pull up with us, watch 2 films. Come on, watch 2 films. If you scared, don't come over here.